Good morning, everyone. We're just going to give it another minute or two for people to join us. Just another minute, everyone. We're still seeing some people trickle in, so just one more minute and we will get started. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our first New York Business Acumen Training Initiative monthly webinar. My name is Maya Optebeka. I'm part of the consulting team working with NYSOFA and Aging New York on this project. And as many of you all know, my fellow consultants are Marisa Scalafoli with N4A's Aging and Disability Business Institute, and Sharon Williams with Williams Jackson Consulting, and also Paul Cantrell and Carol Bennett with Clearview Strategies. As part of this 2-year training program, these webinars are going to be taking place every 4th Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10:30, and you all should have received the series registration invite, which is how you got here today. And as you all know, our topic for today is going to be Lessonly, and our goal is to familiarize you all with how to use this online platform, If you have any questions related to today's presentation, please be sure to enter them into the question box, and we will address them at the end of the day. So first up, for those of you who were unable to join us at the first regional meetings, we wanted to share with you all a brief welcome to the training program from Greg Olson, who is the Acting Director of the New York State Office for the Aging.
Well, good morning. My name is Greg Olson, and I'm the Director of the State Office for the Aging. I'm so glad that you could all be here to join us to launch this 2-year Business Acumen project. Business Acumen is just a word that helps to integrate social services, community-based organizations with all the reforms that are happening in healthcare and long-term care. The end result is exactly what Governor Cuomo's vision is for the state of New York, and that's better outcomes for individuals by everybody working together. This has been a long time in the making. So I'm very excited, and I want to thank the Association on Aging, who have been our partners from the get-go, N4A, and our consultants, Paul Cantrell and Sharon Williams. I'd like to thank our NYSOFA team that's led by Lori Fair and Cheryl Udell. You know, you have very few times over the course of your life to really make a significant difference, and this is one of those times. This is where we get together, and we look at how we can serve people holistically. This project is going to bring us to a point where we link better, we talk better, we coordinate better, and at the end of the day, people get served better. And that's why we're here. So I hope you guys enjoy a great day, and we look forward to this next 2 years working with you on this really important project. Thank you. Well, good morning.
All right, so that was your welcome from Greg Olson. I'll note that for some of you, the first few slides that I'm going to be sharing with you today will look and sound very familiar from the regional meetings, and this is all part of emphasizing the ease with which Lessonly can be used, but it's also meant to provide the basics for those who are much newer to the platform and to this training. So what is Lessonly? It's a simple and easy to use competency-based online learning platform or a learning management system for anyone who is familiar with that term. And it features bite-sized learning where you will have lessons that range from about 5 minutes to no more than 30 minutes depending on the topic. They're designed to be engaging and interactive, where we on the back end have the ability to embed videos and add flip cards and other features along those lines. This platform will allow us to provide you all with very timely and relevant content as you all are working in New York State, and be able to deliver customized learning paths that can really reinforce the curriculum that will be presented to you all on the mentioned monthly curriculum webinars. So the whole reason for choosing this, choosing to use this platform with you all is that the lessons are easy to access and complete on any device and at any time. This is really not intended to take away from your daily workload. So you can access on your smartphone or smart devices, on your commute, you know, whenever you have time to complete these bite-sized lessons. So how will Lessonly be used? As many of you know from the in-person meetings, the Lessonly system is optimized to demonstrate learning and individual learner progress over time by reinforcing information that's presented by the consulting team and our guest subject matter experts during the monthly webinars that you all will be participating in. And then, of course, in the regional meetings, which we will have coming up again in the fall. It is also going to be measuring learner engagement and retention through short quizzes, which will be at the end of every lesson, which will be able to provide you all with instant feedback on what you've gotten out of the lesson. And for us, it'll also, on the consulting side, be able to provide reporting metrics in terms of course completion, searches, and things along those lines. So what should you expect as a learner? A new lesson will be assigned to you each month following the monthly webinar presentation, and you'll be receiving an email notification from lessonly.com when a new lesson is assigned to you. So that will be assigned on a monthly basis. And to facilitate with completion, there will be an email reminder sent reminding you to complete the newly assigned lesson as it's being sent, and then immediately after the proposed or the expected due date. And I'll note for most of the assignments, you'll have a turnaround time of 2 weeks for completing those lessons. And again, they're short, they're easy, you know, it should not take a lot of your time. And again, it can be completed on your own time, just to emphasize. So with your login information, you'll be able to view and complete these on any device, and I'll go into creating an account in a moment. Again, just to emphasize, the lessons are going to be created to be interactive, and they'll be able to provide feedback to fuel your learning through the quizzes and evaluations that will really help us on the consultant side be able to think about really focusing on certain areas within the curriculum content and be able to understand from the lessons that we have provided what information is really resonating with you all. Additional learning services or resources and technical assistance are also available to you all throughout this 2-year program, and I'll get into some of those options in a moment. So next steps, after today's presentation, the next step will be to accept the Lessonly invitation. So you'll receive an email from Lessonly inviting you to get started, and you can expect that email invitation at 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, June 27th. So that is tomorrow. And all you need to do is simply click accept the invitation, which on the screen you can see is highlighted in yellow. After you have accepted the invitation, a new web page will open up, and you're going to be asked to create a Lessonly account. So you're going to enter your first and last name in the full name field and create a password. And the password must be at least 10 characters long, contain 5 unique characters, and not contain part of your name or your email address. So make sure you're writing down or keeping track of what your password is moving forward. And here is what the Create Your Account page is going to look like. So filling in your first name and password that you'll create. Next steps, after creating your account, you will need to complete your first lesson. So the first lesson that's being assigned to you all is the Learner's Guide to Lessonly, in which you're going to discover how to navigate through the Lessonly platform, where to find your assigned lessons, how to access the lessons on various devices. It'll go through special features on the learning platform. So it's really kind of your Lessonly 101 or Lessonly basics, just to help familiarize you all with navigating the platform. So on your account page, within the Learn tab, which will be at the top right, you can see on the screen, the top right of your page, you'll be able to see that a lesson has been assigned to you. And again, we've assigned you all with the learner's guide. And you simply will click on the incomplete lesson to get started. And here is where you're also going to find future lessons once they've been assigned to you. So it's kind of like your library of assignments. So completing your first lesson, this is what your first lesson page will look like. So this is the learner's guide to Lessonly. And it'll take you through page by page. It's not very long, take a few minutes with a short quiz at the very end. But this is what your first page of your first lesson will look like. So navigating Lessonly, the platform is really intuitive. You simply click the arrow on the right side, as you can see here on the screen, the right side of the page to advance, and the arrow on the left side to go back. And again, things related to navigating the platform will also be shared in detail within this first lesson. But it's very simple to use, very intuitive. Some things to note here with Lessonly, with your account details, you will again be able to access Lessonly at any time, and you can do so by clicking on the link in your email notifications and reminders. And as I mentioned earlier, that will be coming from lessonly.com. Or you can simply go to the website listed up here, https://n4a.lessonly.com, and that will bring you directly to this New York Business Acumen page. So sign-in will be required every time you want to access the platform. So you will need to be entering your email address and then the Lessonly password that you created when you first created your account. So please make sure you have that password accessible. So what subjects will be covered in future lessons? The lessons will adhere very closely to the information and the curriculum topics that will be presented to you all in not just the in-person regional meetings, but again on the monthly webinars. And some of those topics will include culture change and alignment, value-based purchasing trends and implications, Medicare, Medicare Advantage and the supplemental benefits, healthcare quality and performance standards and initiatives, and healthcare systems data integrity, analytics and reporting, just to name a few. You're with us for 2 years, so there's going to be a lot of material for us to cover with you all. So will you receive a grade in Lessonly? As mentioned, there are short quizzes that are included at the end with the purposes of providing you all with instant feedback on your learning and be able to inform us on future subject matter expertise to bring in and what additional curriculum needs you all need. So you will receive a score for each lesson based on your quiz performance. Other reporting metrics that will be captured to measure your learning engagement and satisfaction will be things like lesson completion rates, top viewed content and searches within the platform. And I know I mentioned this in the regional meetings, but that type of information also informs us of areas that we need to focus on in terms of developing future curriculum topics. So additional resources that are available with Lessonly, when you scroll to the very bottom of your Learn page, which is where I showed you earlier, which is where your assignments will be housed, you're going to see a Lessonly library. And it's essentially a hub for lesson content and additional information like articles and other material we think you all will find of interest throughout this project. So it's on demand and available 24/7. You just need your login information to get into the platform. And you can easily search by keyword or sort by subject when scrolling through these library items. And here is what your library will look like. As you can see, a lot of the material will be organized by topic. So these are essentially folders, and within the topic folder, you will find previous related lessons in there for you all to access. More additional resources for you all. There's technical assistance. So if you need any assistance with accessing Lessonly, resetting your password, or if your agency is adding, removing, or changing a Lessonly learner, please be sure to contact myself. Again, my name is Maya with N4A, and Carol Bennett with Clearview Strategies. It'll be really important for us to keep an updated list of current learners. So if you're in need of any technical assistance, please do reach out to one of us or both of us for assistance. So the key takeaways from today, again, this is a shorter monthly lesson for you all, but just to get you all started with Lessonly. Key takeaways are that you will complete one lesson in Lessonly per month, intended to reinforce the content from our regional meetings and monthly webinars. The lesson should take you less than 30 minutes to complete on your own time, of course adhering to the deadlines that we put in place, which will give you about 2 weeks to complete them. And you're going to be receiving the email notifications and reminders that will come from lessonly.com, and those will come out when the lessons are assigned to you, and then again another reminder when the due date is approaching. And then, of course, additional resources include technical assistance and contacting Carol or myself should you need to. So after today, tomorrow at 8 a.m., be sure that you're looking in your emails for the Lessonly email invitation in order to set up your account and get started with the first lesson. So that about wraps up what we wanted to share with you in terms of how to access Lessonly, how to create your account, what a lot of the home pages that you will be using look like, and really how to just get yourself started with Lessonly. Your first lesson, again, will go into greater detail about the features within the program. So rest assured, it's really easy to use, and once you sign up, you will be prompted by lessonly.com when there's something that needs your attention. So that you will have friendly reminders to assist you all with completing the assignments moving forward. And just keep in mind that all your pertinent information will be on the Learn page, and you will be able to have access to a history of all of the lessons that we assign to you all throughout the 2-year program. So if there are particular topics that you want to go back to, you have the ability to do so. So now I'll open it up to any questions. I'm hoping Carol's on the line. I will just check the chat or the questions box really quickly and see what we have. Oh gosh. Okay, let me attempt to unmute Carol. One moment. Carol, can you hear us?
I can. Good morning, everyone.
Ooh, we are having trouble hearing you.
Hi, let's try that again. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. So, Carol, I'm not sure if you have access to the questions, but I'm going to open the questions tab up and see what we can address here today.
Great, thank you, Maya.
So one of the questions listed here is, would you please explain what lessonly means? It's a very odd term, and we're not sure what it means. Carol, did you want to take this one?
Sure. So Lessonly is just the name, the company name of this online learning platform that we have selected to utilize for deploying and analyzing the lessons that you will receive on a monthly basis. So much like, Target doesn't really make sense as far as a store name because they sell, everything from groceries to clothing to baby items, but that's the name that their company selected. So this is the name that this company has selected. It's Lessonly, and it simply refers to the company name of the online learning platform.
Great, thanks. The next question is, will the webinars be recorded in case you miss one? And the answer is yes. All the webinars will be recorded, and we will be housing all of the curriculum content on the Aging in New York website. So you will have access to the recordings and also a version of the slides. The next question says...
Maya, I'm sorry, I want to also interject that from time to time there may also be short audio snippets taken in the monthly lessons, particularly if we feel like the subject matter expert does a particularly fantastic job of articulating something, or we simply want you to hear it directly from the horse's mouth. So there may also be times that you will hear certain key tidbits from the webinars that will be incorporated into your monthly lessons on the Lessonly platform.
Great. So next up, we have someone wondering if vacations will impact the 2-week turnaround time for completing the lesson. So I think the deadlines at times can be flexible. Carol, I don't know if you want to elaborate on how missing the deadline will impact any of the learners.
So I think learning best practices obviously support the fact that taking these lessons, engaging in the quizzes as soon after the webinars as possible really helps to solidify and cement that those topics and those key pieces of information into your minds, right? So that's why we have designed the lessons to roll out shortly after the webinars, and we have also put into place that 2-week deadline for completing lessons. Given that, this is a little bit more flexible than, say, a college course or something like that, and we would love for you to adhere to these deadlines. And there are, as Maya mentioned in the webinar, email notifications when you first receive the lesson. There are also reminders as the deadline is approaching to help, just trigger if it's fallen off your radar screen. And then, should you miss a deadline due to a vacation or something like that, then there are also reminders and overdue notices. So, that's kind of how the system is automatically set up to handle that. But if this, is something that becomes a concern or a problem, please reach out to Maya and myself. But generally, the expectation is this is part of the responsibility for participating in this 2-year project, and the majority of the time we do expect and hope that you can meet that 2-week deadline.
Great. And Carol, I don't know if you are on speakerphone, but there are a couple people saying it's a little bit challenging to hear you with the echo. So I'm not sure if that's something you are able to fix on your end.
I know, I'm sorry. I've gotten a couple of messages directly as well. I'm on my headset utilizing the computer, so I'm not sure, and my apologies.
Okay, well, we're happy to have you, and of course, if you need more clarification with any of your questions, my email and Carol's email are up on the screen, and you're welcome to contact us. Next up, we have the question of, can multiple people in one agency have logins, or is the expectation for one person to complete the lesson? So Carol, correct me if I'm wrong, but each learner should have their own Lessonly Learner login account.
That's correct. Each and every learner from the organization, including CBO business partners, if you have elected to give some of your learner seats to those participants, each and every one of you will have your very own Lessonly user account, and you each will have the opportunity to complete the lessons as well as take those short quizzes. So that is the expectation, is that every participant will take the lesson and complete the quizzes.
Correct. So essentially, you are each individual learners completing the lessons and the quizzes after it. Next up, we have, if not all of the Lessonly learners are available to attend the regional meetings, will they still be able to answer the tests on the webinars? So I think I should clarify some of the terms we're using. So the regional meetings will be in-person meetings that happen twice a year. And again, this is a 2-year program, so there will be 4 in total. We just had our first regional meeting in May, and we will be finishing up that first round with New York City tomorrow. But those will be happening in person. However, you all as learners will be responsible for logging on and listening to the monthly webinars. So that is the major part of the core curriculum, is that each month we will be providing a webinar to you all on a particular curriculum topic, and then subsequently the Lessonly platform lesson for you all to complete will complement what has been shared with you all on the monthly webinars. So yes, you should be able to answer the quiz questions within Lessonly, having listened to the monthly webinars, and again, those will all be recorded and the slides will be made available to you all so you can review them should you have missed participating on the live monthly webinar. Carol, did you want to add anything to that?
No, that was perfect. Thank you, Maya.
All right. Keep your questions coming in. I just have one more listed right now, and that is, what staff in the local AAA should be signed up for Lessonly? Is it everyone, clerical, or just the directors? Carol?
Sure. So depending on your agency, there were a designated number of learner seats that you were allotted. Most agencies received 3 learner seats. So and that information was collected through a SurveyMonkey survey that was deployed by Aging New York earlier this spring. So it should be those 3, or in some cases, a few more individuals with your agency or designated CBO partners that are enrolled in Lessonly and will have those seats available to participate in the learning. Those are the only individuals that will receive that email invitation tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. inviting them to set up a learner account.
Great. And to summarize that, your AAA should have by now already identified the learners. Is that correct, Carol?
Yes.
For which we have name and email address already on file, and those are the individuals who will be receiving the Lessonly invite from lessonly.com. So your AAA should already have identified the learners participating in Lessonly at this point. But do reach out to Carol or myself or Aging New York if there are new members or different members from your agency wanting to participate at this point. Next question is, should learners within an agency collaborate on completion of the homework in Lessonly? And I will say that you can talk amongst each other about the lesson content, but completing the lesson is, again, meant to capture you as an individual learner and what you have gotten out of the lesson yourself. Carol, did you want to add something?
No, I think that's exactly right. These lessons are designed for you as an individual to complete. Now, that's not to say that there won't be other takeaways or things of that nature from the in-person regional meetings and from the homework designed to have you take the information and implement it, right? Because that's really what this whole project is about, is not just learning, but now taking it out into your agency and out into your community and putting it to work. So there will be, of course, some takeaways that you'll want to work with your colleagues and your community partners on, but not for the lessons. Those are designed for individual learners to complete on their own.
Right. So each agency will have designated learners, but the hope is that what these learners have been able to take away from the monthly webinars and what has been able to resonate from the online quizzes is something that these learners will be taking back to share with colleagues and the larger staff within their agencies. Next question is, if a particular topic is really salient to an issue we're addressing in our agencies, how do we share that Lessonly information with non-learners within our agency? Carol?
Sure, that's a great, that's a great question. So in some cases, in many cases, we will be providing case studies, links to additional resources, that sort of thing for more information. So those would certainly be things that you could use to dig a little deeper and to share more broadly. In terms of sharing the actual Lessonly lessons, I do know that there is a way to make some of those lessons publicly available. So they would be available, if we chose to a greater audience, not simply limited to our individuals that have a Lessonly login. So let us take that back to the consultant team and figure out a process in which to make that available.
Great. And for everyone to keep in mind, these Lessonly lessons are there to supplement and reinforce the curriculum topic that's shared on the monthly webinar, and the monthly webinar slides and recordings will be made available to you all. So that is content that you can easily share with your broader staff as well. So keep that in mind.
Great point, Maya.
Any more questions? Keep sending them in. We're getting through these pretty quickly. Okay. We have, can you review the requirements for replacing an existing assigned learner? So replacing a learner from your agency.
So that's a little bit more detailed than what we wanted to cover on a slide or in this, this particular webinar. That is going to be a situation that when you do have additions, changes, replacements, please reach out to Maya and myself and via email, and we will provide you with the information that we will need to make that change.
Right, so keep in mind that Carol and myself are your go-to people, and we'll want to know that information as soon as possible so that we are providing all the necessary information for this new learner to have access to Lessonly and to get started themselves. So please do let us know when that change happens within your organization. Any more questions, folks? Okay, we have, can you send this PowerPoint to us to save for our records? And the answer is yes. This webinar, the slides will be provided to you all along with the recording. So we will ensure that you all have access to today's information, definitely. The next question is, in the introduction email, there were directions for the agency to complete a group assessment. Is this assessment required to be completed by only Lessonly assigned learners or by leaders of the AAA? So I believe this individual is referencing the N4A readiness assessment, and that is to be completed with your agency team, so staff as a whole, not necessarily just the determined Lessonly learners. So that is something, part of this learning program, but separate from the Lessonly activity that the assigned learners will be responsible for. So yes, you can be completing the readiness assessment with your greater staff team, which is the intention for completion. And again, if you have questions about the readiness assessment, please do contact me. I'm happy to help. The next question is, are the PowerPoints from the regional meetings going to be filed in Lessonly?
So Lessonly is not really designed to be like a file storage. The learning library that Maya walked you through and showed you a screenshot of, that's designed to hold lessons. Now, Maya did also reference that there is going to be a web page where the project-related materials, the links to the webinar, etc., would be housed, and I would think that that would be a more appropriate place to have those sorts of resources available.
Yes, agreed. All project-related curriculum material, which is your PowerPoints, these recordings will be housed on the Aging New York website. And we will have more information on kind of the project repository for you all coming soon. But in terms of housing other material on Lessonly, no, it will strictly be Lessonly lessons and quizzes that will be housed within that particular online platform. More questions, everyone? We still have a little bit more time today with you all. Keep them coming in.
I would just like to echo, Maya's excitement and enthusiasm and welcome, and also just underscore the fact that it seems really confusing right now. We have shown you a lot of screenshots designed to really allow you to know what to expect and exactly what you will see come tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in your inbox. But it really seems I guess, scarier or more complicated than it truly is. So my hope is that we have prepared you very well so you know exactly what to expect and exactly what to do, and then you'll get into it and you'll be like, oh, this was easy. I have no idea what I was so worried about. It is really very intuitive, and that's one of the reasons that we selected this platform, and I hope that you find that to be the case as well. And if not, Maya and I are here.
Yes, and just to provide those of you who were not able to be in the regional meeting, kind of an overview is essentially there will be regional meetings, which are in person, again, that happen 4 times a year. But the majority of you all on the phone today will be participating in the monthly curriculum webinars, and that is complemented by the online lessonly learning. So those two are kind of the major aspects of the curriculum that the majority of you all as learners within this program will be responsible for engaging with. So yes, I hope that that's not confusing or overwhelming, but also if you do have any questions related to the entire Business Acumen project as a whole, especially for you AAAs out there, please do contact Aging New York. They are kind of the communication liaison between you all and our consulting team. So any Business Acumen training questions, please do reach out to your Aging New York folks. Next question coming in is, will we know how each agency is performing on their homework? And are we being ranked based on our homework performance? Will we know how we're performing against our peers? Carol?
Yeah, so there are, as Maya indicated, there are quizzes that are included in each lesson. You will receive a score based on your performance on those quizzes at the end of each lesson. We are also collecting and reporting out those metrics. But I don't know how broadly those will be shared with others. Paul or Marisa or Sharon, I don't know if you all can elaborate a little bit more on the learning metrics and how those will be used.
I am looking for Paul's audio. Paul, can you hear us, or are you able to provide any additional insight? Okay.
Maya, can you hear me?
Hey, Sharon.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for jumping in.
Good. Good morning, everyone. I don't think that we are looking at the lessonly quiz outcomes as an opportunity to kind of rank who's smarter, who's had more experience. Really, the outcome of the lessonly experience and test results or quizzes will help us gauge how effectively we are communicating the information to you all through these lessons and lectures each month. We will be utilizing the information as well, as Maya has pointed out, to help us gauge what are some future lessons that we need to ensure we cover, or where might we have, let's say we talk about Medicare Advantage and the supplemental benefits, which could take 2 or 3 lectures. But as a result of the test or the quiz outcomes, we determined that maybe we need to have a part 2 of that or have some follow-up, because some of these subjects may require more than one webinar for us to cover them sufficiently with the participants. So there shouldn't be any concern about any penalties or any concerns about your agency's results or your own individual results becoming public.
Paul or Marisa, did you all have anything to add on that before we move to the next? Okay, I just want to make a note about a comment I'm seeing here in the questions. This individual is asking if we on the consulting and the project team side, be sure to make any notifications coming out about the project to make sure that the subject line is clearly labeled NYSOFA Business Acumen. We will be sure to make that distinction for you all so that you can readily see it in your email. So the answer is yes, we will make it as clear as possible for you all to know that information is coming from this specific NYSOFA training program.
I would add that that's we can certainly do that with the communications that are being distributed from us or from Aging New York or from NYSOFA. However, there is a limitation within Lessonly. At the current time, we are providing them with feedback, and they are continuously updating and making more features available. But as it stands right now, when learners receive email notifications, reminders, etc. from Lessonly, I do not have the ability to modify that subject heading. So all communication from us, from the project team, and from Aging New York and NYSOFA will include that. The automatic generated email notifications from Lessonly, unfortunately, will not at this time.
Great, and just to reiterate that for those of you who might be finding it difficult to hear, what Carol said in terms of making the notifications identifiable is that anything coming from this New York Business Acumen training program from the project team, we will be sure to identify that it is part of this project in any emails or notifications. However, when you get your lesson reminders from Lessonly, we do not have the ability to embed the NYSOFA in there, so you will just need to be sure that you're remembering that Lessonly is part of this NYSOFA program. I just wanted to clarify something. I believe I might have misspoken earlier in mentioning the regional meetings. There will be 2 regional meetings a year, 4 in total, so not 4 a year. The correction is there will be 4 total regional meetings taking place twice a year for the 2-year program. So apologies for misspeaking. Someone's asking if we can share the dates of the fall regional meetings. We will be getting that information to you all, so please stand by. The next question is, are there other AAAs who have used Lessonly for training purposes? I believe the answer is yes. Carol, do you have further insight?
Correct. We have utilized the Lessonly platform for AAA learning in other states.
Yes. So Lessonly has been used with AAAs before. Any more questions? Please keep them coming.
Maya, all of this talk about email notifications reminded me of the fact that there was a communication that went out last week. It went to one person at each agency. This is the individual who, in that SurveyMonkey survey that was deployed last spring, was identified as being the primary point of contact between us, the consultant team, and each agency. As part of that communication last week, we asked that one point of contact to work with the IT team at their agency to ensure that the Lessonly domain has been whitelisted. And what that means is your computer systems, your IT security will allow you to access the Lessonly website to complete your lessons, but B, allow the emails and the notifications from Lessonly to come through and not be rejected or go to your spam filter. So hopefully that has occurred. If you have any questions about that, please, check with that liaison, that point of contact. And if you are not receiving your email notifications from Lessonly, and again, that first one will come tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., then please do reach out to Maya and myself, and we will provide you with the information that your IT team will need.
Great. So for those of you who didn't necessarily hear that, Carol is referencing a email notification that went out last week to the learner points of contact that were identified in the survey that went out last year when we were getting this program ramped up. And that email was to ask the IT departments of each of your agencies to whitelist the lessonly.com email address so that you all are readily receiving them in a timely fashion and that they don't get lost in any spam or any filtering mechanisms that your agency may have for security purposes. So that information to whitelist the Lessonly communication has been sent out to the appropriate individuals who will be handling that at the agency level. So that's what the whitelist reference is. And that's to ensure that you're getting all your Lessonly notifications into your inbox without any issue. Let me see. Any other questions or comments? So we have a question here that asks, will the monthly webinars include information about the transformation of DSRIP? And I will just say yes. I don't know if any of the other consultants want to provide any elaboration. Sharon, if you want to jump in here, or Paul, I believe you're off mute now.
Hi, it's Sharon, Maya.
Hey, Sharon.
Much of our development of the curriculum is done in conjunction with NYSOFA and Aging New York. Part of our goal is to ensure that we provide information about the broader changes and drivers for healthcare transformation, but it's equally important for us to provide information about the local healthcare landscape in New York. And as NYSOFA and others from the Department of Health are continuing to develop and implement DSRIP 2.0, we will certainly be working with them and inviting them to participate as panelists.
Great. And as a reminder, all of the curriculum content that we will be providing to you all is New York healthcare AAA specific. So DSRIP will be of conversation. Anyone else have questions to put in the box? Okay. Well, as a reminder, this webinar and webinars to come will all be recorded and slides will be made available to you all. I also can collect all these questions that you all have provided today and provide some written response if that's helpful to everyone. I can pull those from the platform. Do any of the consultants have anything they'd like to say in terms of closing remarks or other questions to pose?
Hi, Maya. It's Sharon again. Just want to congratulate all of the learners in Lessonly and again reinforce and underscore what a unique opportunity this is for AAAs. There's not another state who has undertaken this kind of lifting up of the AAAs. You know, folks say that, you know, rising water lifts all boats. That is NYSOFA's mission here, to ensure that all AAAs have access to the information that helps ensure that they are able to participate fully as they desire in the healthcare transformation in New York. And we believe that the lessons that we'll be providing will support that goal.
Great. Well, with that kind of concludes what we had to share with you all today. Again, if you have any New York Business Acumen training specific questions, you can, of course, reach out to your Aging New York people. If you have questions specific about Lessonly, please do contact myself and Carol, and we will be able to assist you. And also stand by for a notification on when we have all of this information housed and ready for you all to access at a later date. So if no one else has any questions or comments, I think we can conclude today's session, and we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working closely with you all for the next 2 years. Thank you, and take care.
Thanks, Maya. Thanks, Carol. Great job today.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.